2, 1. Hello, this is Joeofthemasks.
And Jeremy once again. And today we've got a little bit of a combo just to simplify it, because these are fairly simplistic devices right here. On the right hand side we have a USB dongle. This right here will be able to access, it's an AC standard, so A, B, G, N, AC. All wireless standards.
All the alphabets.
Yeah, all the alphabets, soup of 8 to 11. It's dual band, so people who have a 5 gigahertz broadcasting range, you can do that. Nothing too fancy. I got this one off of Amazon. It's just a cheap Chinese knockoff, whatever.
China.
Well, the thing about it is I subscribe to a subreddit called PC sales or build a PC sale, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire point of that subreddit is to simply just show you where you can get cheaper graphics cards, CPUs, motherboards, cases.
Very nice.
Anything. And so this guy usually is like $15. It's got gold plating on it. I mean,
ooh, so we can melt it down and sell it for less than what we bought it for.
Yeah, basically. There's gold on there, but not worth really trying
anything.
To refine. Yeah. But basically,
enough to fill a tooth? I have a cavity.
No.
Oh.
No, it's trace amounts. You might be able to gild part of your tooth, maybe.
I'll make a little smiley face on my tooth.
Yeah. Something like that. But because I was on that subreddit, and for a lot of these other parts I got sales on as well. It was like $10.
Gotta love subreddit.
Depending on the subreddit. Some of them are really weird. Yes, and for all you people who have Macs, I feel sorry for you because A, they don't have CDs anymore, and B, the little push in, push out doesn't work very well with micro CDs. That being said, I don't think I'm going to use that. Anyways, it's fairly useless.
We could use it to throw to college students as they walk by.
Yes, I could. I could sharpen it.
Freeze me!
Installation manual for everyone who can
read
those tiny little things in Windows XP, because
I don't have that good eyesight.
People who are buying brand new wireless dongles will clearly have that.
RAM,
DDR4, and supports Intel. Fancy, just like every other one.
Intel inside.
Yeah,
because we force it.
Basically, they did actually pay people to use their.
So does DDR stand for Dance Dance Revolution, or?
Some people think that. Some people think it's for the Deutsches Demokratische Republik or East Germany, but that's also false. It stands for double data rate, I believe it is. And that's referring to the fact that you have to send and receive data, so it's a double data rate. And then it's marked. It's the fourth generation, so it's
my favorite
DDR4.
is still East Germany now.
Yeah. But this is G-Skill Ripjaws. This is clocked at 3,000 gigahertz with a CL of 16 or 14, something
Sounds like
that.
we could go back in time with that.
Not quite so much. Gigahertz is just roughly how fast you can refresh data in and out of it. And CL stands for cast latency, and so that's how much of a latency you get in milliseconds.
Like when you click and then it waits a second and then it responds.
Fetching and receiving instructions for the CPU.
Yeah, click.
One thing to note is that for AMD CPUs with the Ryzen series is the Infinity Fabric, which allows the different core complexes, which are just parts of the CPU. When they try talking to each other, they run off something called Infinity Fabric. And Infinity Fabric runs at half the rate of your RAM because you have to send and receive. So if it's always sending data, it runs at half speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how that works. So the faster you can get your RAM speed on an AMD series, the more throughput you can get on the CPU. And that really shows on synthetic or workstation projects, not so much on gaming. Unless it's something like Ashes of the Singularity, which leverages a lot of CPU performance. Also included is a little tiny sticker, which I will never use.
What's the sticker for?
It's to say you've got G-Skill on the inside.
Can we stick it on someone's forehead while they're sleeping?
Yes.
All right, we're going to stick it on someone's forehead. Probably Dylan.
Yeah.
Stick it on Dylan's forehead while he's
they're
sleeping.
right there.
Because he's not here.
Heat spreaders, which is the reason why it's got this kind of oblong shape inside.
I was kind of wondering what. It kind of looks like a fancy comb.
Yeah, it does. The heat spreaders, if they do produce enough heat on the DDR4 itself, would increase performance because they keep it cooler. But I'm not too sure if this even does that or if it's just aesthetic by this point. But that's...
Still looks like a fancy 80s comb.
Yeah, it does. 288 pin on the bottom,
Start like West Side Story.
Feel the rush of DDR4 performance.
Dance, counter revolution.
Yeah. Another thing about DDR speed is if you have an APU, which I talked about with the motherboard video. If you have an APU, it is generally better for you to have the highest rated RAM that you feel comfortable buying for. The reason for that is because most GPUs, graphics processing units, have onboard VRAM, or video RAM, which stands for Video Random Access Memory. And VRAM isn't present on a motherboard that's designed for APUs. And so, in order to simulate VRAM, what the APU will do is it will force the graphics part of the processor to run off system RAM. So the faster you can make that system RAM run, the faster your APU will perform. There's been a couple of videos recently released with someone finding the brand new APUs, which are still based on the old Kaveri architecture, I want to say, from AMD. And rather than on the AM3, I think it is, or FM2, one of those two sockets, rather than running on that with DDR3, it's designed for AM4, which will tie in to really any AM4 socket. But because of that, you can get even better performance because you're quite simply running at a faster speed, so the graphics processor is less bottlenecked by the speed of the memory. Can't solve everything, but it helps remove a bottleneck. And this little bugger right here, this little tiny thing, is a solid-state drive.
What is that?
A solid-state drive is a way of saving memory permanently, well, or as permanently as you can get. They tend to bleed out memory every 6 years or so with USBs or SSDs.
60?
Every 6 years.
Oh, 6 years.
Yeah,
Okay,
just-
I was
just a
like, every
single-
60 years? I'm like, well, that's
Just
great.
a single digit, 6. If you want 60, you have to use tape drives. Or you have to burn it in to like an archive disk. That usually has a pretty good
Yeah, those do.
rate. This tiny little thing, like that's a finger right there, and I don't have a coin on me.
I think we have a banana somewhere.
Yeah.
No, we don't. Never mind. I ate the bananas.
I'm going to see if I can't fish out a quarter, just so you guys can see relative scale.
I have a bunch of quarters.
Well, it's right here. So there's a quarter for relative scale.
Yeah, 'cause we don't have any bananas because
Yeah.
Joe got hungry.
Is that in the frame?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, let me get closer.
But anyways, that's what it looks like. That's how small these things are. That's one thing that I feel like a lot of people tend to ignore when they do reviews for this, is they don't show how small it is.
Because it's small.
It is very small.
If we had a banana, we would show you.
Shut up, Reddit.
I'm really...
Or more so Imgur for that joke.
I'm sorry. I like bananas.
Yeah. But anyways, this part, this side has a half circle. That's to mount on the motherboard. And this part right here plugs into the port on the motherboard itself. And this will run off of 4 PCI lanes rather than 16 that the graphics card has. This just runs off 4. And it'll transfer data even quicker than a regular SATA type motherboard. Or SSD on the motherboard.
Very informative.
Yeah. So those are all 3 components. A little long-winded today.
But hey, we figured 3 would be better than saying, hey, look, this is RAM. A little bit about RAM. Hey,
Yeah.
this is a dongle. Dongles.
The
It's
annoying,
just tiny.
The annoying thing when it comes to buying RAM and SSDs these days
How expensive they are.
is, so there's 3 major manufacturers, and they control about 80% of all manufacturing for it. And so both these guys, over the past year, and we're here in April of 2017, you'll probably see this in May. Hate to ruin it for you. That's how it works.
Yeah, I'll probably be seeing in May.
Yeah.
But right now it's 9:21. 22, depending on which clock I'm looking at.
That's right. But the people who are running this right now, it's like I know Samsung's the big one. I forget the other two. TLC, no, that's a technology. SNK, I think they're called. I don't know. I'm
Alphabet Soup.
No, SNK, that's Attack on Titan. I'm just crazy.
That's alright. TLC, I thought was Under Loving Care.
No, TLC is a way of layering data. But due to the fact that a lot of
Or True Love Channel. Whatever. Other companies besides this one.
due to the fact that a lot of cell phones are now moving to DDR4, and they're currently trying to shrink the size, that way they can fit a higher gigahertz and less cache latency, and generally better performance overall for less costs. Well, raw operating costs, not so much manufacturing costs. They've been experimenting with that. So these guys, over the past year, have gone up about 40%. So if these were $100, they would have been about $60 back in 2016 around July.
Well, it's kind of like my hard drive, my external hard drive I bought, 4.5 terabytes.
Terabyte.
All right, good, because I didn't call it gigabytes this time. 4.5. I bought it for $60 back in the day, and now I went to go buy another one, and no.
Well, that's also a deal, it sounds like.
It might have been a Walmart. They do deals. Yeah. All right. Anyways, thank you ever so much for listening to us, and I'll see you a couple days from now.